Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at an interesting way to deal with disrespect. And we've got a short excerpt for this one that lays out a personal philosophy. Basically, how to use silence as a response to disrespect, which is not really my usual go-to.
It's really interesting, though, right? It kind of goes against the grain of,
Yeah,
what we usually think we should do.
fighting fire with fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So why don't we just jump right in? The excerpt goes like this. Silence is my new answer to disrespect. I no longer react. I no longer argue. And I no longer dive into drama. I simply remove my presence.
That's really interesting. What really strikes me there is just like how they're choosing to just like completely disengage. It's not about, accepting it or anything. It's about like a strategic withdrawal.
Yeah, it's active, right? It's like you're saying, I refuse to give your disrespect any power over me.
Absolutely.
I mean, how effective is that, really? Would that not just look like backing down?
Well, no, not necessarily. I think this approach is kind of tapping into the power of strategic indifference.
Okay.
Like when you don't react, you're denying that person the satisfaction of seeing you upset. And that can actually be really disarming.
Right.
It disrupts that expected dynamic.
It pulls the rug out from under them.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the removing your presence part? Is that more than just staying quiet?
Exactly. You're physically and mentally disengaging from the interaction. But think about it. When somebody's being disrespectful, they're often seeking attention or validation or even like a reaction to escalate the situation. But by removing yourself, you're taking away their audience and their power.
Yeah.
It's a way of setting a really clear boundary.
It's like this space is no longer available for negativity.
Yeah.
So where could this be used then? Like what sort of scenarios could you use this with your boss or someone in authority?
Well, that's interesting, right? I mean, the core concept is the same. You're denying the disrespect power by not feeding into it. But the execution might need to be adjusted depending on the context.
I see. So for our listeners out there, how can they start thinking about using this tool?
I would say start by just like being mindful of your reactions. So like when you encounter disrespect, do you engage? Do you get defensive? Or do you withdraw? This approach really encourages conscious awareness and deliberate action.
Okay.
So it's about choosing how you respond rather than just reacting on autopilot.
You're taking back control.
Yeah.
Do you think this could translate to like online interactions at all? Like social media?
Oh, that's a great point. I mean, think about it. The digital space presents like a unique challenge, but removing yourself could look like unfollowing or muting or even blocking.
Oh, interesting. It's like curating your online experience
Yeah.
to minimize exposure to disrespect.
Creating a digital safe space. I love that. So listener, as you're navigating this digital world, think about how this idea of silence removal could apply. Could you use it to protect your mental well-being and maybe even create a more positive online environment? That's something to think about. Until next time.